true in a sense there are organizations who use Satanism and even anti-Semitism in Yati's ideology, you cannot proclaim those are the only contrivances used in Ramcoa Tbmc. Not everyone experiences all of the acronyms. Some may experience Ra, MC, and others MC, OA. A ritual abuse does not always have to include Satan. Ritual abuse is premeditated, systematic, and sustained over a long period of time. It essentially becomes a sort of routine. Mind control has a plethora of various titles: brainwashing, conditioning, indoctrination, programming, etc. Understandable that such words as programming and brainwashing can seem far-fetched due to how the media portrays it. However, society does believe in the growth and outcome of conditioning and indoctrination. Conditioning, process of training or accustoming a person or animal to behave in a certain way or to accept certain circumstances. Indoctrination, teaching someone to accept a set of beliefs without questioning them. Now take conditioning, indoctrination with some added severe physical abuse onto a child, children, to mold them into an image you want them to be, and there you have programming. A child's mind is one of the easiest to manipulate as it is not yet developed. When ritualistic abuse comes to play with abuse and severe conditioning, a child's mind will equate something to be a reward or a punishment. This gives the perpetrators that mind-controlling ability. I recommend looking into the book To Train Up a Child, a truly horrendous book about how to use conditioning and abuse to quote-unquote train a child to behave exactly the way you wish, to mold and shape them to be fearful of the hand that beats and feeds, but to also condition them to love and to be fearful of leaving. This is how mind control works on children. Now, mind control can either be a little more difficult or just as easy. When it comes to the mind of adults, when it comes to conditioning adults, a perpetrator may have to use an existing contrivance. This could mean religion, war, hunger, poverty, health, etc. Something you must remember is with a perpetrator or perpetrators, when it comes to mind control, they are not idiots. Now, for OA, organization abuse. Organizational abuse or institutional abuse is when an individual or group are neglected or suffering because of poor care practices within an organization or care setting. Some of the contrivances of organizational abuse are inappropriate confinement, deprived, bleak living conditions, abuse of all types, inappropriate assertion of power or control, neglectful medical procedures and treatments, etc. One of the most well-known area to use organizational abuse is DPRK, Democratic People's Republic of Korea, also known as North Korea. DPRK or North Korea, their usage to keep the people isolated and believing in propaganda, varies between each supreme leader. With Kim Il-sung, he used the Korean War and Imperial Japan to create and isolate the North from the South. Starting the generational indoctrination of the North won the war. Kim Jong-il used the arduous march, the famine which took millions of Koreans, and labor camps to control and citizens of North Korea. Although the happenings of the arduous march has given the people the start to think and not believe in supreme leader, prompting North Korean civilians to try and escape the country. Though not every citizen can or want to escape for various reasons, this does not always mean they fully support supreme leader as it was implemented into their minds all other countries beside their own was safe, good, etc., or they would be imprisoned or killed. The current supreme leader, Kim Jong-un, became the more progressive kind of leader, bringing in mountains of technology, resorts, tour guides, etc. Supreme leader Kim Jong-un was seen as someone who was able to grant wishes, a supreme leader who gave hopes and dreams for the people and children. His usage of promises and outside sources are what keep the people under his control. When it comes to the contrivances in which create organizational abuse, what happened during the arduous march and in labor camps gave the example of organizational abuse. To give just a small example of the two events in which OA is presented, with the famine, outside aid was given, however the distribution of food was not done correctly due to the very fact Supreme Leader Kim Jong-il did not truthfully speak on how much food was needed for the people. essentially using most of their products to feed the elites, to place a quote-unquote guide on how much the rest are allowed to possess. The labor camps people consider them to be equal to or worse than the Holocaust itself. While mandatory labor is done both in the camps and even outside, medical attention, health care, and doctor's note are in terms non-existent. During Supreme Leader Kim Jong-il's time, Camp 22 was considered to be one of the most brutal of all labor camps, where severe ritualistic abuse is used to torture, re-educate, etc. prisoners. Inside Camp 22, you are not human, you are a punching bag. Organizational abuse within Camp 22 is far worse than outside. Now, whether you still believe in Ramcoa or not is up to you. I have given examples of Ramcoa without using satanic panic or even anti-Semitism rhetorics, only were they briefly mentioned. While I to wish such thing as Ramcoa was non-existent, that time may come in the future whether or not I am still alive to see the day. However, what you should not deny are survivors of abuse, trafficking, cults, tyrannical dictatorship, countries, etc. For all of those are very much real and happening every day. And those contrivances can indeed produce Ramcoa.